it's Oopsy Daisy. I'm Ashley.
And I am Vanessa.
Yeah, so we're finally doing this.
Yo.
I feel like for the past 5 podcasts, we'll be like, hey guys, sorry we haven't been here in a year or so.
I know, but shit goes down. And then I totally feel like Ashley and Michael were like, we're gonna do a podcast, and it never happens. That's literally what happened. Next, Sunday, we're gonna have it for Sunday. No.
To be fair, shit has been going down, okay?
Yeah, it's true.
Unfortunately, bad stuff, which,
you don't need to talk about it. It's personal. You know that.
Yeah, it's been a rough month. And then last week we were going to do the podcast, but then Vanessa got kidnapped by her sister.
I did, yeah. She just showed up at my house.
I was like, Vanessa, you ready? And she's like, no.
Yeah, legit. I was getting ready, and then there was a knock at my door, and it was my sister. She's pretty much just get in, loser, we're going shopping.
And then Vanessa had work all week, so she was unable to do it. So Here we are, doing it now. We've been trying. It's just, I hate giving this excuse every single time, but, life sucks.
It's true.
But
life especially sucks when you're Ashley, and then you get told that I got a tattoo, and you can't fathom such a thing happening.
So I don't care that Vanessa got a tattoo. It's just that she told me a while back that she was going to get one, and I'm like, okay. I'm thinking a little thing on her arm, and she wouldn't tell me what she was getting a tattoo of either. And so all of a sudden, she finally shows me a photo of her tattoo, and it takes up her whole freaking arm. Okay?
I want you to know that that's not even all of the designs that's going on.
Oh my god.
My shoulder and everything. That whole blank space on my tricep area, and my shoulder, that's getting done too.
Oh my god. That's just too much for me at once.
Yeah, she legit was tattoo shaming me. It was wild.
Okay, I don't care that you have tattoos. It's just a lot for me to take in.
I'm going to bring up the text right now.
I said basically the same thing.
I know. So you're like, oh geez, if I ever get a tattoo, it's going to be one and small. And I'm like, you seem to be shook by the idea of a sleeve. And you're like, I am! It's just too much at once! And I was like, tattoo shaming. And you're like, I'm sorry, it's a lot to process.
It is.
And I'm like, this is not even affecting you personally. And you're like, I know you. I see pictures. It's personal. You're like, it's not that I hate it. It's a lot. So, yeah, it's great.
I mean, it's true. I see pictures. So now the next time you post an actual picture of you, I'm going to be like, those tattoos, man.
It's true, you will. You will. It's just my third tattoo.
Yeah, but I never seen the other tattoos.
It's because one's on my other arm, and it's just my last name, and the other one's on my calf, and it's a Canadian maple leaf and the fleur de lis, because I'm French-Canadian.
I would totally get the maple leaf as a tattoo.
You're not even... It's because you wish you were Canadian.
I do. I really do. And then for the past 2 weeks, I've been binging a series on Netflix. It's called The Travelers.
I haven't heard of it.
Well, it's about these people from the future. They're trying to prevent the future from being as sucky as it is. So they bring people back. Their their conscious gets transferred into these people. So essentially, they're kind of like the body snatchers. And they're just trying to do things to make sure the future is better than the one they left. But anyway, I'm just innocently watching the show, and guess who shows up on it?
Who?
Paul.
Oh jeez.
He's an FBI guy in this.
Okay. I watched a show years ago. It only had one season, but I wish it had so much more. It was essentially Grey's Anatomy, but it takes place in Afghanistan, and it's all military, and Paul was in it too.
I feel like what was it called?
Combat Hospital.
Okay, no, I've never heard of that.
But yeah, he was a nurse. He was in the Canadian Forces, and he was a nurse. Dab.
I've seen him in something else too, but I can't remember what it is now.
I don't know. I just remember that one because I saw it and I was like, oh my god.
But I always like remember he's like, oh, he's Paul.
Yeah.
Like that's
It's
just
always Paul.
that's the one role that I always refer to him as. Like that's Paul. Oh, Paul dude was in Once Upon a Time for a couple episodes. Okay.
What did he play?
A guy named Pool.
Oh god. Oh jeez. Paul and Pool. Okay. And I don't even know what Paul's name is. Paul, what's your name?
Arnold.
Pinnock.
Yeah.
What have you been in, Arnold? The Incredible Hulk. Cold Pursuit. Twitches.
I just
Down to
knew
Earth.
the ones
I don't know
named.
these things. Once Upon a Time, but yeah. All right, let's get started.
We watched the episode He Shoots, She Scores. Vanessa, what is your lovely summary of this episode?
Okay, the lovely summary is that, the family's just chilling. Casey's mad because no one is sophisticated like her, but then she has to battle Derek and see who is the better older sibling. Derek wants to teach Liz about hockey. Casey wants to teach Edwin about getting a girl. It's wild. Marty's a kleptomaniac. She's gonna have her own crime documentary I'm gonna write about, just like Casey's psychopath shit. It's great. It's a great episode.
The episode opens up with Lizzie and Casey coming home from Lizzie's first hockey game, and apparently Lizzie is terrible. Casey insists she did great, but Lizzie's like, you don't even know hockey.
See, to which I say, in my world, Casey does know hockey. In real life,
Ashley probably knows the most hockey out of this whole cast.
Exactly. I was going to say, like, out of anyone there, she's the one who knows hockey.
Yeah, I know.
But
they have her know the least. Like, Marty in this universe probably knows more than Casey.
Yeah.
But Casey's the one that knows the least.
See, like, I liked it because I was like, ha 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 ha, Casey's actually a secret hockey player. We've discussed this. Continue.
And so Lizzie's just saying, she's terrible too. Like, she doesn't know anything about hockey either. And Nora is like, you didn't get the whole puck in the net?
The whole puck in the net?
It sounds like she's trying so hard to say, like, hockey lingo, but, like, they're pretty simple terms.
See, this is what I want to tell you guys right now. I have a lot of beef with this episode for all the hockey things. You're gonna, like... I played hockey. I live and breathe hockey. As you like hockey too, but not on my level, I think.
No, not on your level.
So a lot of things rub me the wrong way in this episode.
So this should be a very interesting episode.
Oh, like anything hockey, I'm going to be like, stop.
No. Lizzie said the only thing she got in the net was herself because she couldn't stop.
I mean, I've seen that, but like 2-year-olds.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. I'm like, and also, do they not practice in these little leagues thing? Like,
apparently not, because
I mean, I feel like that would be one of the first things they would teach. Like, because obviously she's in a lower league, nothing like, like Marty's age or anything, but still, like, people at this age are just the first time like playing it.
She's like what, 12?
She's like 11, maybe 11, 12. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the age I started playing hockey.
Yeah.
And
so
at least I could stop.
But still, like, you would think that something like they would actively try to teach the kids at this age, like to make sure everyone knew how to stop, especially before like they play games.
It's true though, but like, see, I started playing hockey at like 12. But I played, like, ringette, which I don't know if you know what ringette is.
No.
It's essentially hockey, but the blade of the stick is cut off, so it's just, like, the stick, like, the shaft.
Huh?
And it's a ring instead of a puck, like a giant rubber ring.
Oh. I thought you were going to say you just played with the stick, like there was nothing on the other end.
No.
Oh, wait. So you're saying that it's not, like, a regular, like... hockey, but it's just like a rubber, like.
It's a rubber ring, and instead of like just someone goes to pass and you put your blade down to stop the puck, you actually have to have like hand-eye coordination because you have to stab your stick through the ring to get the pass and everything, right? So it's like a way more difficult sport, I would say, because the rules are different. There's no breakaways. There's never a breakaway unless you have two teammates going up together because you have to pass across the blue line. That's a
Oh.
rule. I thought I could do something else because I heard, hey, the boards are an extra player. So I went on a breakaway and tapped it off the boards and got it on the other side. It got blown down. But, I was thinking outside the box. But yeah, like goalies, instead of having a catcher mitt, like the glove,
Yeah.
it's like an actual glove that your hand kind of thing. So you could actually throw the ring out and stuff and catch it.
Oh.
So
That's.
everything's essentially the same except for the goalie's glove, the ring, and the stick. The stick can be the more expensive sticks, the better sticks. It's just like it has a metal tip at the end, so you can actually like elevate the ring like Rick shots and everything, so it doesn't dull on the ice, like the wood doesn't dull. But other than that, and they have triangle masks because a stick can go through the hole if it's like a hockey mask.
I never even knew this sport existed.
Oh yeah, it's wild. It's like I think it's not a Canada thing because they do play in other countries as well. It's like the girl hockey before girls were like accepted into hockey as it is now. So they played ringette before. But anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yes, we are.
I learned how to skate when I was like 4. I learned how to stop because I played ringette, and then I went to hockey. So I understand. She's just getting into hockey. Yes, it's difficult, but at the same time, you need to learn to stop. It's like the first thing you need to learn.
And it should be like the first thing that they try to teach them because obviously I think they do have practice
Yeah.
because like, not everything she's doing is games. It's just like she's at practice and this stuff happens too. I think so. It's like how is the coach not teaching her this? But anyway, and apparently also she tripped one of her team members on a breakaway.
I mean, I believe it. My sister, she was essentially Lizzie in this scenario.
Oh jeez.
She played maybe 4 games and quit hockey.
So she wasn't a McDonald or a Ventura.
No, she just quit. My sister was in the higher group than I was. She was in midget bantam because it's peewee bantam midget whatever. That's the thing. Um, so she played. She was defense, and she got the puck and decided I'm gonna skate up with it. And then she had a breakaway, and she's like, "I'm the best. I'm the best." She shot. The goalie didn't even move, and she looked behind her. She had left the puck in her own zone and kept skating. And that was like the straw that broke the camel's back, and that was her 4th game, and she was like, I'm out. She's like, I've been embarrassed one too many times. I'm gone.
Yeah, so Lizzie's the worst on her team, without a doubt. And then Edwin comes in, having been to the game too, and it's revealed that he has developed a crush on one of Lizzie's teammates, Tanya. And Lizzie then expressed that she wants to quit hockey, but Nora won't allow her to. Casey then says, like, McDonald's don't quit. And then Lizzie is just like, well, this one will. Then they have this, like, blue screen moment, and in it, Casey saying that, Lizzie and her have always had this really special sister bond, and that, even despite, living with the Venturis and having 2 new stepbrothers and a stepsister, like, she still comes to her for advice, and support. And in the next scene, Lizzie comes to Casey's room
I love it.
saying she needs advice. And Casey's like, that's great.
She's like, great, you have a problem. Let's solve it.
I was watching the episode and I just started cracking up because it's just like, she just loves that like, Lizzie has a problem.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like Lizzie's problems make her happy. And it's just like, okay.
Well, Casey's just weird. She is the sociopath. We have discussed this already.
Yeah, so there you go. There's another. Oh, yeah. So Lizzie wants Casey to convince Nora to let her quit hockey, but Casey insists she can't. And she just tries to give her like advice, just like keep trying, you'll get better. And then Lizzie gets mad at Casey because she's giving her more sensible advice than sisterly advice, and like she just wants to quit, but no one's
But
letting her.
but sisterly advice can be sensible. That's the thing.
Well, she's not telling her exactly what she wants to hear.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever. Anyway, so then Casey is in Paul's office. She tells Paul that her and Lizzie had a disagreement. And he must be thrilled that for once Casey isn't talking about Derek. And then in her next breath, she blames her and Lizzie's trouble on Derek. Because he's a bad influence, obviously.
Could this count as another, like, sociopath thing, her obsession with Derek?
I don't know. You seem to be more on, like, sociopath things than I would.
I'm gonna Google.
But seriously, like, even, like, Paul is, like, very amused that she just, like, goes to blame Derek right away. Like, obviously, like, because then Paul, because was even saying, like, well, Lizzie's growing up, like, she's starting to think her own way, and it might not coincide with you. And then she's just like, no.
No.
No, that's not it. It's all Derek's fault. And then I don't know if it's supposed to be a flashback or just an example that Casey makes up in her head, but it flashes to Casey asking the kids if they want to watch something cultured.
See, that's what
like
I meant. That's in my summary. This is the scene about how she doesn't like how they're not sophisticated like her.
So she asked them if they want to watch Swan Lake, and the kids were like, no. And then Derek comes like barreling down the stairs, and he's just like, "Hey guys, you want to watch 2 hours of animals attacking each other?" And like, they're all like, "Yeah!" I could totally see that exact scene happening, but also it seems too specific.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see just Casey making up that scenario in her head of something that could happen, but I don't know. So anyway, next scene shows George yelling at Derek, grounding him, saying he can't do anything, not even breathe without his permission. And of course, Derek, being the smartass he is, he holds his breath and then asks if he can breathe now.
Derek's a shit piece of shit.
Yeah. So he gets sent to his room, and then, Nora's obviously like, what's going on? And George tells her that his car got towed because Derek wasn't outside the ring to get picked up. So he had to leave it in like a no parking zone. And he had to go unlock his lips from the snack bar girl. Like, of course. And then Edwin's in Derek's room, and he's asking him for girl advice. And Derek says, sure, but for a price, because he needs to pay their dad back. And I thought it was interesting that Derek held back from being too, like, candid with Edwin, which is weird, because he's said before, like, oh, she's hot, or, like, something like, he even asked Edwin, like, what base he got to when he was with that one girl in the one episode. But he asked him, like, oh, what base did you get to? And then, like, but here, obviously he wants to say something a little bit more like, oh, she's so hot, or something like that. But he's just like, she was so nice. Like, he stopped himself. And I'm just like, but why? Like,
maybe Nora was like, you need to stop encouraging your boys. Stop.
Because Edwin's turning into a major perv.
Pretty much. That's probably what she said. She was like, cease and desist.
But he's actually not that bad in this episode, but we'll get to that. So yeah, so at dinner, George asked Lizzie how the hockey was going. And Edwin tells George that Lizzie is hilarity on ice. And then Nora suggests that Derek teaches Lizzie how to play since he's the resident hockey star. And George thinks it's a good idea, so he tells Derek that he's going to help Lizzie. But of course Derek is just like, I don't know how I could help girls hockey. And he says something about like them playing in skirts and everything. Oh, Derek. Oh, Derek. So ignorant.
Yo.
So sexist.
Yo, I'm gonna say this right now. I've played against hockey team, like guys hockey teams on girls hockey team, and we've beaten them, so.
Because guy thinks that they think they're better, but like, then they're overconfident, and then they suck.
We finished third in a boys tournament. We were the only girl team in the tournament, and we finished third. So, dab!
That's pretty good.
It was great.
It then cuts to Casey reading in the living room, and she keeps getting distracted by this ball hitting the front door. And it's Lizzie and Derek practicing, and so she opens to tell them to cut it out, and the ball flies directly over her head. So she gets the ball, and then she chucks it out the door, kind of assuming to hit Derek, but she ends up hitting Lizzie.
Can I just say that she had the most unathletic throw I've ever seen? Like,
I wonder if that's actually Ashley, or if she was trying to not throw it well. Just because Ashley knows sports doesn't mean she's good at them.
True, that's what I look like when I'm throwing, but I'm throwing with my wrong hand. Yeah.
Hand.
So maybe she wanted to be like, hey, Casey's not athletic. Maybe she threw with her opposite hand. If I threw with my left hand, I'd look like a fucking weirdo.
I don't know. I don't throw with my left hand that often, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, I've done it just for laughs, and I look like a fucking noob.
But, Casey, couldn't you just go upstairs if it was annoying you that much? Do you really have to be in the living room to read your book?
She's extra, okay?
She always just wants people to censor their life around everything she's doing, but it's like, Casey.
The world don't revolve around you.
So Edwin then just randomly shows up on the couch when she decides to go back to it. And he's saying oh, do you know when Derek's going to be done? I need girl advice. So she's like, oh, well, I'm a girl. I could help you.
I mean,
and
she knows some stuff.
Edwin tells Casey that he wants to talk to Tanya, but she's a bit more developed than other girls.
I love how she didn't clue in.
And Casey's like, she's smarter than you? And he's like, probably. And then he drops this analogy that I think is just so funny. He's just like, so suppose Tanya was at the grocery store. You'd find her with the peaches, not the grapes.
Peaches and not the grapes.
And she's like, oh, developed. Yes.
I don't know how she didn't figure that out when he said it the first time.
Because Casey, I don't know. Casey's so naive a lot of the time, but I do appreciate that Edwin in this scenario was just like, I don't want to be a pig, and just stare at her development.
I mean, that's better than Derek, because Derek would be like, hell yeah!
Because in that one episode, he wanted to go to the museum purely just to see the naked women.
He's a hoe.
So he's gaining some insight that's kind of not okay-ish behavior, right? So Casey gives some pretty sound advice. She just says try to get more comfortable around her, learn what she likes, and then once you start, understanding what she likes, where she goes, you can talk to her, and
But see,
fine.
Here's the thing: she gives him good advice with that, get to know her. She doesn't say fucking stalk her.
Which is what Derek which is what Edwin does. I know. He just applied it wrong.
And then he blamed her.
She was just find out what she likes, find out where she likes to go. That doesn't mean you follow her to figure this out.
I can't.
Oh boy, Edwin. But anyway, right after they're done talking, Derek and Lizzie come in laughing. And Lizzie, it's because Lizzie shot the ball in the Davis's bird bath.
I don't know how that was funny.
I
don't know how that was funny.
I don't know either, but I guess just because it's the Davises. Poor Davises, I would have probably wanted them to move out by now, because they have Derek swimming in their pool all the time. They have Derek ruining their, flowers, throwing things in their bird bath. Oh my God.
This is true. But listen, do you know that we've talked about this? The real estate in Ontario is wild. They ain't moving.
Well, I mean, if they're paying, I don't know. Anyway, and so Derek is saying that with a few more lessons with Lizzie's big bro, she'll be an all-star in no time. And of course, Casey obviously gets jealous and says that Edwin is going to be an all-time dater in no time. And of course, these two have to make it a competition.
Yes.
Of course. And then this cuts to Nora telling Marty that she needs to give this robot toy she's been playing with in the episode back to Dimmy. since it's annoying Nora. But Marty says that Dibby doesn't know she borrowed it.
That is because the kleptomaniac.
So, yes, apparently she stole it. And so George comes up at that time, and Nora tells George that, she borrowed it without permission. And so, of course, George is just like, well, Marty, you have to give it back to Dimmy without him noticing.
Yeah, that's some solid advice. Very solid.
And Nora's like, no, she has to give it back and apologize. And then she's like, because what Marty did was stealing. And both Marty and George are like, no!
Not at all.
Oh my god. Could you imagine what Marty would be like, well, any of them really, if Nora never came in their lives?
Yeah, you know what? I feel like they would be a crime family. They would be the Italian mob of London, Ontario. This is why Derek has this playboy persona. He's his mob persona of playboyism. Marty is obviously going to be like 5-finger discount Marty and steal from everyone. Edwin's the money man. He plans the financials, and George is the Don and gets everyone to do shit for him. I figured it out.
And then he's gonna get like charged for like sexual assault.
Oh God.
Well, if they didn't have anyone to tell him to stop being such a freaking creep.
It's true.
I mean, somehow Derek understands like there's a line, because like you obviously see he's different with girls than he is without, but Edwin hasn't learned that line, at least not yet, or he's starting to now, and so he just would be a total creep. This is why
I say that little summary I gave you, perfect story. Someone, no one's written a Venturi mob story. Just saying. Hint, hint, Ashley. Hint, hint, Ashley.
I would have no idea how to even start that story. Presumably the next day, Derek is eating this huge-ass sandwich.
That sandwich looks delicious, okay? It looks delicious.
It looks disgusting to me. But anyway, it's a huge-ass sandwich, and he burped, and it grosses Casey out. Again, I don't understand why they're always in the same room with each other when they can't apparently stand each other. But anyway, so Lizzie comes home, and Derek asks how she did. And I don't know what Lizzie did, but she ended up getting demoted to Water Girl.
Okay, this is where we start again, my rant. Okay. There is no way that in any level of hockey, especially that age group, that you're going to be demoted to Water Girl. There's no such thing! No! I can't. The writers in this need to talk to me. Like...
What? That doesn't really mean much now.
If they were... okay, any Disney Channel show, Family Channel, whatever it's called where you're from, you need to talk to me. Everyone needs to talk to me about anything hockey related. Because we don't go to Sweden for a game. We don't get demoted to Water Girl. Like, that doesn't happen. You don't get punished by, oh, you're bad? You're Water Girl. That is so demoralizing. It would never fucking happen.
Well, what I don't understand is that they don't hold it. Like, she gets demoted to Water Girl here, but then she's playing in the next game.
It's not a thing, like, and they just threatened her with it, which makes no sense.
But, like, why would you even, like, say it? It's just like, okay, Lizzie, you know what? You suck so bad, so you're the Water Girl now. And then when the game comes around, Lizzie, what the hell are you doing with the water? Get on the ice.
Oh my god, I just can't.
But anyway, so yeah, she gets demoted to the Water Girl, and Casey gloats, saying Derek should let the pros give advice. And then in that moment, Edwin comes in, saying that Tanya thinks he's weird and now calls him Ed Weirdo. But again, it's not Casey's fault, that because she never told him to stalk her.
It's true.
But, you know. And Derek says she knows nothing about little brothers.
Here's the thing, though. Wasn't Edwin's, like, wrestler name Ed Weirdo as well, or some shit? Earlier? Like in season 1 or something? Or a magician? What was he? I just remember.
I don't remember him wrestling
I just remember, like, he was a magician or he was wrestling or something.
Oh.
And that was his name. And they just used it again and made some girl call him Ed Weirdo.
Maybe. I think it might have happened. Yeah, in that party episode. I don't know. I'd have to look back at it. But yeah, maybe. This is where Casey calls Derek, a skirt chasing cad. And Derek also calls her a princess. And these are two things I constantly see in fanfics.
Oh.
Obviously, princess, that gets used
It's
like
true.
so much. But whenever, like, a lot of the times when Casey wants to kind of throw a dig at Derek, I see the skirt chasing cad line a lot
Oh yeah,
in
I always see
fanfics.
that as well.
So, and Derek's like, I don't know what a cad is.
Yeah, it's you.
Oh man. And then Casey says she's going to get Tanya to notice Edwin in a good way, and that he'll even take her to the upcoming dance. And Derek is like, "Well, I'm gonna make Lizzie the team's head scorer. Like that's very
Yeah, she can't
ambitious."
stop, but she's gonna be the team head scorer. Yeah, okay. Sure, Derek. Okay.
It's like, I mean, even Lizzie's a little bit ambitious, but like it's doable. I feel like. But like Edwin, I mean, Derek's goal is just kind of like, whew, like give yourself a little bit of a better chance
You
here,
know that
Derek.
like gif of Jennifer Lawrence and she's like, okay, that one? That's me in this whole
Oh.
scenario of him. Team's leading score. Okay.
Okay.
That's me.
And okay, so then they drag the kids away because they have no say in any of this. They can't stop. They can't, quit. And then it cuts to Derek and Lizzie in the living room practicing. And Derek's a goaltender, like in between the bookcases from where like the dining and kitchen room is.
That hurts me so much as well. As a goalie, just
Well,
everything there hurt me.
well, I think they were in the behind the scenes
He didn't know
interview
how
for
to hold the
this.
stick.
Um, yeah, exactly. He had to
Yeah,
ask
because her
Ashley.
brother's a goalie, so she knows shit. And
Yeah.
I was just there like, and also I think he was using the wrong stick for it. Like,
Well, yeah, but I think that's just because he's not a goalie, so he wouldn't have a goalie stick.
no, not even that. Like, I think the stick. I guess because if he shoots a certain hand and he holds it a certain place, the blade's curved a different way. That's what got me, and I was like, ah! And I was like, I just can't. Shit in this show kills me when it comes to hockey. I cannot stand it.
The prop department didn't
Yeah,
give a shit.
and it hurts me.
They were like, "Oh, well, here's just the stick, so we're
Yeah.
gonna go with that." Um, so yeah, so Derek tells her to hit the top shelf, and she actually hits the shelf or the bookcase to the side. So if that's where she was actually going to try to hit, she did a pretty good job on the accuracy there. But obviously, Derek didn't mean an actual shelf. He just meant,
The chopped
above the
cheddar.
shoulder, or
That
like, you know what I mean.
cheese. Top cheese.
He just like Lizzie's just saying, I want to like take a break. I want to stop right now. And then she starts saying like, I even just want to quit. And Derek's just like, no. He's like, when you're out there now, you're representing me because you're in Venturi now, sort of. And so, she said that he's saying that he's a 3-time league MVP and, they don't quit no matter what. And she just gets so fed up and so frustrated that she slaps that thing. It was like, I don't
It
even know
was
what
some
that
weird, like,
was that she
glowy
slapped.
ball thing.
Rubber ball thingy. It was like really weird. Like, I don't know. It looked like a monster, but she hits that and you just hear this like crash sound come from the kitchen and Derek's like, good job. And then George is like, what was that? And then they end up having to run away.
Yeah, you don't play that shit in the house. They had it right the first time.
Don't play ball
They had
in
it
the
right the first time when they
house.
were, like, shooting at the garage door. That's it.
And apparently
I
George
know.
hated that too.
But that's, like, literally, if you, like, drive down, like, streets and you see all these dents in garage doors, you know what's going on. It's practice.
And then, I guess presumably while this is happening, Casey is attempting to give Edwin a makeover. So Edwin says that girls don't care about looks.
Hmm.
No, not at all. The guys with the funnies get the honey.
Oh no.
And Casey's like, and how do the funnies get the honeys? And he's just like, why burping the
Oh
anthem
god.
or the alphabet or
I
whatever the hell he
can't.
was
I
saying.
cannot.
Um, and so she's like, okay, well, let me see your nails. And so he does, and she like freaks the hell out.
Yeah. You should see my toenails.
So she tells, yeah, okay. So then she tells him to use the nail clippers, and she's like, "You've used these before, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, twice." Oh boy. And then she decides to put mousse in his hair, and for some weird reason he doesn't like his hair being touched. I don't know, but she ends up doing it and goes to the next scene where Derek is helping Lizzie strap in all her gear. And Casey comes down with a new and improved Edwin, and he's like wearing like these like khaki pants. And then he's wearing like a nice button down shirt that's tucked in. His hair is like kind of like nicely done and like parted and shit. He looks like a mini businessman.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
She comes downstairs with Edwin. She's just like, make eye contact with Tanya. Derek's just like, I hope you don't make nose contact because he reeks. That he's wearing perfume instead of cologne like Casey said she was putting on him. And Derek is just all like, girls like a guy's natural smell. And he's like fluffing out his shirt or whatever towards Casey, like trying to give him his charm. He tells Casey that Edwin is now Edwina. And obviously, Edwin freaks out because that's worse than a weirdo. And he wants to quit. And so does Lizzie. But the two are not allowed to because their coach says so. And so then everyone leaves because they have to go to Lizzie's game. But poor Lizzie is still on the freaking ground and she can't get up because of all her
make
gear.
sense. Okay, yeah. There's players who dress at home because they have to drive and they don't make it. But you don't have your skates on, and you don't have your helmet on because you're gonna die. And then you're gonna get to the like arena, and you're like, you can't get out of the car because you can't walk on cement and shit. You can't do it. So unless Derek and George are gonna like carry her into the arena, she ain't going nowhere. I know this from experience. You don't do it.
And at this point, this is where we learn that Marty took more than just the one robot from her friends, but just a whole bunch of other toys that she borrowed without permission.
Kleptomaniac.
So they have to deal with that.
Kleptomaniac's at it again.
And then I guess time has passed. It's been after the game. Derek comes into the living room and he says that he heard Lizzie slammed a player into the boards and he was proud. Also, side note, wasn't Derek at the game?
Yeah, maybe he was too busy having his lips locked by the concession girl again.
Maybe. But he's talking like he wasn't at the game unless like he just took Lizzie there and then left. I don't know.
But here's the thing.
So Lizzie...
She got...
Lizzie says she actually...
She checked someone and she got benched, she said.
Yeah, so Lizzie says she actually crashed into her because she couldn't stop.
Again.
And since body checking isn't allowed, she got benched, which she's happy about.
It's not what happens. You don't get benched for it. You get a penalty. That's it.
Well, I guess in their head, it's not that, like, she might have also gotten a penalty, but I guess, like, the coach as, like, a way to reprimand her was just like, now you're going to get benched.
No.
I don't know. I'm trying to think their logic,
I'm thinking
okay?
the logical way of logic here. As someone who has been penalized for his smacking someone in hockey, you just get a penalty. I had a penalty in playing a game and I body checked the girl, which you can't do in girls hockey because you're not allowed, unfortunately. It is.
That's stupid.
I smoked her into the boards. I got called for interference, to which I turned to the ref and I was like, if you're going to call a penalty, call the right one. I'm like, she had the puck. And he's like, well, she could have passed it away. And I'm like, but she didn't, so it's not interference. I'm like, if you're going to give me a body checking penalty, give me a body checking penalty. Right?
Right. That's just so stupid. Well, I mean, did it give you less time or would it have been the same?
It was still a 2-minute penalty either way.
Okay, then what was the point of like I could see if like body checking was like 5 minutes and like he was trying to let you off easy on like a 2 minute
Oh yeah,
penalty, but like
I was just annoyed that he had the audacity of saying interference when I was like, bitch had the puck. I was like, don't try that shit with me. Don't do it.
So she got benched.
Um,
I don't know if she just means like for the game.
I don't know, but this coach is
But-
horrible and he should be fired.
Because apparently, but okay, but she played in this game apparently. But I thought she got demoted to
Yeah,
the
we
water
don't talk
girl.
about this coach. He dumb.
And then in this game she got benched, but that just means for this game or for the next game, because apparently she's going to play in the next game, because Tanya comes over and that's what she tells Edwin, like, yo, make sure Lizzie doesn't play next game or I can't give you that dance you want. Like,
she's getting benched for like.
so what the hell's going
like
on
getting
here?
benched for a game, and then they're like, "All right, you're back. You did your time." More like, "How about we teach you to stop, and then you can play even better." Ugh.
So, okay, so after, but Lizzie's obviously happy that she got benched because it's the next best thing to quitting. And so she even gives like Derek a high five. And so Casey, God's sake, she's just like, so I was watching the action behind the boards. And then she's like, and Tanya was looking at the new Edwin, and I invited her over, which must have been freaking weird for Tanya because she doesn't know Casey,
so
most
likely.
likely.
Like, ooh, who's this creeper asking me to come over?
And she's just like, hey, would you like to come over to my house?
That's where Casey's like snapped and is gonna kill her. Or she's like, hey, I'm a pedo, come on over. It's creepy. I would have been.
But she came over anyway. But Edwin is just like, what? No, I don't even like Tanya anymore. Like, what the hell happened within like a couple hours? I don't know. But anyway, so apparently Derek, like, he only has these like week-long crushes, which is what Derek knows, and he throws that fact into Casey's face. Like, you gotta know your players.
Know your players.
And so Casey's just like, well, Edwin, she's coming over, deal with it. Practice on her so that you can like become more comfortable talking to girls, which again is solid advice. So, Tanya comes to the door and she tells Edwin that whole like ultimatum thing, like, I mean, get Lizzie to play and I'll give you a dance at the dance. So Edwin goes to Derek's room. He's all excited. The crush is back on. And Derek's like, how much you paying her? And he tells Derek the whole situation. And Derek tells him to forget it. 1, because he doesn't coach quitters, and 2, he doesn't want his brother to get used, which is sweet. But anyway, so like Edwin wants to fire Casey, but he doesn't want to hurt her feelings. But you can. You have no heart, to Derek. And so Derek's like, you want me to fire Casey? With pleasure. And he's like, And then we see Casey comes back downstairs, and she sees Lizzie trying to tie her skates very unsuccessfully.
They're hard. They're hard to tie, let me tell you.
But she's becoming very frustrated with it, and she just starts, she expresses how Derek doesn't care about her feelings, and the better she gets, the harder he pushes her, and essentially she wants to fire Derek too, but she asks Casey if she could do it instead. And of course, Casey's like, Of course. At this point, George and Marty come home because they had been just going around trying to get Marty to apologize to all her friends and give the toys back. But apparently none of her friends want their toys back.
Maybe they were like toys they didn't want anymore. And she's like, I'll take them.
I know, but it's just weird. I don't know. Like, were they toys that like she found in their basement that they like haven't touched in years?
Maybe they're like Dudley Dursley and they have that second bedroom full of toys they don't use. Harry Potter.
I don't know. So, that happened. Derek and Casey both come out of the rooms at the same time and they knock into each other. Casey then tells him that Lizzie wants to fire him, and then he tells her that Edwin wanted to fire her. And she's just like, no way! Edwin has made great progress. Have you seen his cuticles? because that's what
Yeah,
makes him
Hugh could
change.
care.
Yeah. And Derek tells her what Tanya wanted from Edwin. And she was like, oh. And they're both trying to make their own decisions for Lizzie to help themselves in their little competition. And Lizzie overhears them and she just tells them, like, she's going to play, and basically because she wants to
Hell
piss off
yeah.
Tanya. And then Derek offers to teach Lizzie how to stop on the ice. And then Lizzie's goes, as my former coach or my stepbrother? And Derek goes,
It
as your
was so
big brother?
amazing.
It is such a sweet moment, though, especially because Derek and Lizzie don't have many
No.
moments. This was a very sweet little moment for them. And then Casey is a damn puddle at the exchange. Like, she's just, like, all starry-eyed, and she's just like,
I mean, that was me.
and she's like, maybe you're not such a bad coach after all. And then Derek just, like, looks at her, like, I hope you're not hoping for, like, a return to that
Yeah.
compliment. And then she's like, Edwin is a changed man. And then Edwin just proceeds to, like, burp and mess up his hair.
Oh, God.
Casey can never get a win. And forwards to, they just came back from the game and they're all chanting, Lizzie's number one. Lizzie's
so
number one. They still didn't win, but apparently Lizzie was pretty good. Even Derek compliments her, saying she was good. And, Lizzie's just like, thanks, big bro.
So bad.
The cringe. Like, that one moment in the hallway before was good. Like, it's cheesy, but, like, it still felt, like, genuine. This was just, like, forcing the bond right there, but still. Ooh. Edwin then asks if he should call the goalie, and they all tell him no. And then lastly, apparently Marty donated all the borrowed toys to a children's hospital, and they all applaud her and tell her she's wonderful, which is not going to help her when she's older.
No, not at all. Yo, what if she, like, grows up and is, like, in this giant thieves' den ring thing, and she's just, like, stealing from everyone?
And then she donates it, and then that she feels better about it, but not really. And then
So she's Robin Hood? Is that what's happening?
She's like Robin Hood, yeah. Oh boy. So yeah, I think watching this, I laughed a lot more just because of things were so stupid that it was, like, funny. Like Casey, like, being excited that Lizzie had problems.
Oh, God.
And
this episode for me was just, like, it was!
Torture because of the hockey.
It really was. The only thing they got right was how difficult it is to tie your skates. Let me tell you, that shit is hard. Like, everyone has their own way of liking it. And
after this episode, they were like, we can't write that much more hockey
no
stuff
more
anymore, guys. we can't. Alright, so we'll answer a couple different questions here. One of the questions, hey, what do you think Derek would do for Casey if he was in the same shoes as Sam with dealing with month anniversaries?
I think Casey would be, like she was with Sam. But I think Derek would be like, not a thing.
No, Derek definitely wouldn't be a fan. I feel like Casey would still, it depends when this happened and how it happened, I feel like. Because obviously, if they were going to date in high school, he would still have been like, no, I'm not doing that. But if, like, they were a little bit older, like college or even afterwards, I feel like he would eventually, like, maybe the first one he would try to blow off. But then, like, to not have Casey, like, kill him, he would be down for it. He would just keep it low-key.
If he's not in an environment where he has to keep up an appearance, he's probably fine with it.
Yeah. And I feel like he wouldn't really, I think they would come to a compromise somewhere. Like, I don't think that they would be celebrating it every month. The compromise is
he gets her, like, coupons to, like, a bookstore, and she gives him, like, hockey tickets. It's the compromise. They'd be down for that.
That is very outweighed. Like, that's not even out. Here's a coupon for Barnes & Noble. Buy one book, get one free. And here's front row. Here's the tickets right behind the hockey
Here,
net.
let's rephrase this. Here's some Leafs tickets. Oh, here's some tickets to Swan Lake.
I could see that, but maybe not for like more like a a year
Barnes
anniversary, maybe.
See, I was going chapters because that's like the thing in Canada is like Indigo chapters. So I was like, you're not gonna know what that is.
No, but yeah.
Oh, wow.
I could see Casey being better at buying gifts than
It's
Derek.
funny.
So, like she would probably make all like his favorite meal or something, and he would like buy a
cupcake. I did that. Have you seen
If you're lucky. He would buy the cupcake, but it'd be like half eaten by the time she came home.
She's the Man?
Yes.
Okay.
I love that movie.
You know when she wakes up and what's her face? Enos has like a cupcake? And she's like, I made you breakfast, darling. She's the Man.
Wait, what?
Remember when Amanda Bynes she gets kicked out of her dorm and she stays with Enos? And she wakes up and she's like, oh no, I have a game. And this is like at the end. And then she's like, they're like looking at her at the other bed holding a cupcake. And she's like, I made you breakfast, darling. Do you remember that? Do you remember that scene? Okay. You're going to watch it right after we're done this anyway. Because of that, my sister loved that movie. And it was like her 16th birthday, I believe. Or something like that. And my cousin and I, we made sure that like she wasn't there, but it was a plan we had, that me and her mom, so my aunt, we went out to like a convenience store. We couldn't find cupcakes. We had to buy like a Twinkie or some shit. But we showed up at her birthday dinner, and then we had this Twinkie and a candle in it, and we were like, you look so serene on your 16th birthday. And then we were like, we made you breakfast, darling. And my sister like lost her mind. She couldn't stop laughing. It was great. You have to watch the scene, everyone. Watch She's the Man and you'll know what scene it is.
It's been a while since I've seen like the whole movie, but I do love that movie because it's just so freaking funny. So, okay, the next question. Do you think you have a good summary for Life with Derek? I guess the show in general.
Bitch, I can't even come up with a good summary for a story.
Well, I can't either. But we know the whole summary. We know the whole show for Life with Derek. I don't know. An uptight girl mom marries
uptown girl living in a lonely world.
What did she use? She used
slackadaisical
father of a Zach Morris wannabe guy. They both drive each other nuts. They have annoying siblings. The house almost surprisingly doesn't burn down the whole time they live there.
I have a summary. Mine is very simple. It's very short. It's a lonely girl living... I don't even know what it is anymore. A sophisticated girl living in a lonely world. There we go. That's it. That's my summary.
And then a summary for just Derek's character is just like, yeah, I saw someone on Tumblr call Derek. Zach Morris was like his predecessor. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. And I love Saved by the Bell. Like, I've seen every single episode a couple times over. And like it just never dawned on me that like they were that similar.
I thought that was the person telling you that they saw that and were wondering what we thought. So my bad.
No, there's something I saw on Tumblr.
Also, Zach Morris, I loved you in Pitch.
Oh. That was an older Zach Morris.
I still loved it, and I hope it comes back.
I know. It's been like forever, though, so I don't know.
You know what? I believe. Maybe she got traded to a better team than the fucking Padres. Any Padre fans out there, I'm sorry, but you know it's true. Getting Manny Machado does not make you good. Just like Phillies getting Bryce Harper doesn't make you good.
Don't you dare. Their
You've been
pitching
cucked.
sucks ass, though, so.
Oh, don't talk to me about pitching right now. Oh my god.
I saw you ranting on Twitter about your Yankees.
Oh, they have allowed like 50 plus runs in 5 games.
Holy crap!
Yeah, don't talk to me about pitching.
Well, I mean, like, we're in a similar boat. I don't know how many runs we've allowed in the last couple games, but, like, I feel like we're always getting, like, blown out. And it's just so frustrating.
Anyway, next question.
What makes you feel the Daisy you're reading is real, feels like canon, when we're reading fan fiction?
What makes you feel the Daisy?
Yeah, like if they write it in the story, like you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's very in character. Or like maybe what's something that some fan fiction people might do that would like that's not Daisy.
There's a lot of things that I read. I think there's more of that's not Daisy than that is Daisy to me.
I think it's I think like people changing them when they become in, like when they get into a relationship is a turn off. Like Derek obviously cares about Casey, but even when he's in a relationship, I can't see him being like super sensitive all of a sudden.
That's what I was gonna say, because I've seen somewhere they're in a relationship and it's like not him. He's just like super caring. I'm sure he's caring, but like this is like
He's not
he
doing it
stops
his
being
way.
Derek. He stops being Derek. It's a whole different
Yeah.
character. I mean, so many people, I'm included, that in their writing they make character like they're out of character. Like I am super guilty of that. I'm horrible. But there's some people that goes like over the top, and I'm like, that's not the show. This is not Derek. This is not the character kind
Well,
of
I
thing.
think like because you'll say like, oh, Casey's a hockey player, but
Yes.
you kind of put it in the context where it would make sense. Like it's not something that she does that people know like about. Like she keeps it a secret.
Mm-hmm.
So like
She's still a nerd.
right, and she like still tries to pretend that she knows nothing about the sport. Like so it makes sense in canon, even if that's not technically something that Casey does.
Mm-hmm.
But
Like
like you'll have Casey like all of a sudden just like no hockey right off the bat. Like there's no history added to it most of the time to warrant that.
yeah, because I know for ours we still made it look like she was going out dancing and stuff,
Yeah.
but it was like she's actually playing hockey. Eh.
I think it's hard to pick it like you said, it's easier to pick out things that doesn't work than do work
It is.
because I think it all depends on if the writer also like adds context. So like if something becomes something in the story, if it like shows the beginning of it and then keeps using it, I think that's fine. Like if Derek were to start calling Casey a particular name that wasn't in the show,
Mm-hmm.
if you come up with like an origin for it and then it gets used like in a way that Derek would still use, that's something that's fine. But just all of a sudden, just like be calling her babe, I think is weird and like Casey wouldn't necessarily like.
No.
So it's just like, I don't know.
It's a difficult question for
It
sure.
is. To anyone listening, are there certain things that in the fan fictions, like a certain thing that maybe Derek Casey does that you're just like, ah, no, and it takes you completely out of the story? Or is there some things that like you look for in stories that, you know, that get you really like interested into it? I just think keeping Derek low key caring is fine. Making sure Casey's not too neurotic is another thing. Like, yes, she's neurotic, but like she shouldn't be over the top because then I'm like, why do I want Derek with her? Or like, if Derek is too much of an asshole, why do I want Casey to be with him? So it's just like you gotta find a nice like level, like
Yeah. I mentioned this story before, but like, you remember the one I told her that she like wished she didn't know Derek, and then she like woke up in a world where they weren't related or anything like that?
yeah,
Yeah, so in a way she was like, Derek was Derek. She's like, I wish I never met him. And then she wakes up in a world where their parents aren't married, but he's still him, but he's nice,
Yeah, I
right?
think he was a lot nicer, but then like I think it worked just because he figured her as another girl, and he
Maybe.
tends to be a lot nicer to them, but like together they're just that's not the relationship.
Mhm.
So in like an actual like their world, they're always going to be button heads and arguing and teasing each other. But I don't know.
Mhm.
It's difficult. All right. Well, so this is the end of this podcast. Bye bye.
Peace.